Hey everybody, this is Fortune Kid, and today we are going to start opening our first booster box for the Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works English Edition set for Weiss Schwarz. This is a set that came out towards the end of summer 2015, so it hasn't been out too long. And it's got some really interesting cards in it, and I was able to pick up a booster box for a good price, so I decided to go ahead and get one. And as I said in my Fate Stay Night trial deck review, I have not seen the Fate Stay Night anime. I have seen the Fate Zero anime, and some of the characters were in Fate Zero, like Rin, who is this girl here. She was in Fate Zero, although she had a relatively small part. Saber was a main character in Fate Zero, so she's in here. Then there's Rin and Saber again. I don't know who this girl is here. On the side, that is Rin and Archer. Archer is her servant. And Archer was in Fate Zero, but he looked different. So I think all the servants slightly changed their appearance except for Saber. Saber looks the same as she did in Fate Zero. And then I don't know who this character is here, but I think he's the new master of Saber. Saber had a different master in Fate Zero. And there's a Saber Climax card. And there's the back of the box, as usual. Alright, so let's open this up, and I think we'll do 5 packs per video. And try and take as close of a look at the cards as we can. For sure, I'll read the rares, and if I see any other interesting cards along the way, I'll stop and read those as well. But we will get an overview of all the cards in each pack. So we open up the box, and of course inside we'll have the 20 packs, and then we expect to have a promo card, and the promo card are all mini characters, so let's see who we got. Ah, very nice. So we got the Mini Saber, which is actually called SD Saber, and I don't know what the SD represents. I think I've seen that before in Sword Art. They might have had it like a SD Kirito. I'm not sure, but here is the SD Saber, and it's a level 1, 0 cost, 6,000 power. Servant and weapon are the traits, and it says if the number of cards in your clock is 0, this card cannot attack. So that's interesting. So it's kind of a little bit of an oversized level 1 0 cost, because level 1 0 costs are typically 5,500. This one is 6,000, and the demerit is if you do not have any cards in your clock, this card cannot attack. So that's interesting. You know, that might be a playable card. So that's very nice that we got that, and we'll put that right there for now. And then we'll just grab the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packs off the front. Put the others off to the side, and let's open them up and see what we get. Of course, we are hoping for an SP. Most recently, we opened 2 boxes of Kantai Collection and did not get an SP, which was a bit of a disappointment, but that sometimes happens. You're not guaranteed to get an SP in a box, so when you do get one, it is very nice. So we are starting off with Usual Morning Shiro, a different Morning Rin. So I got a Usual Morning Shiro, but a different Morning Rin. That's interesting. At the School Cafeteria Mitsuzuri. So I don't know who this character is. She was not in Fate Zero, so I probably will end up watching Fate Stay Night. It looks like an interesting series, and I really liked Fate Zero, so I probably will be checking this out. Rin's classmate, Kaede Makidera. Now we're on to our first uncommon card, Mischievous Smile Taiga. Kind Soul Shiru, and then our rare, and we have a single rare, and the you wouldn't call it foiling, but the there's like a prismatic type of effect that is layered onto the front of the rares. And in this set, it's very interesting. It kind of reminds me of what I used to see on some of the rares with Cardfight Vanguard. It looks like squares. So as I'm moving this along, I hope it's coming through on the camera. It's really neat looking. It's a very different pattern. Usually it's kind of that snowflake prismy pattern. That's what we've seen a lot of. But this is unique. It's like squares, and they get wider, or the borders get wider and narrower as you move the card. So anyway, it is a battle with Soichiro Saber, level 2, 1 cost, 8,000 power, attacks for 1 soul, servant and weapon. And the effect is, when this card attacks, if a card named Armor Release is in your climax area, you may pay the cost. So it's a climax combo with Armor Release, and the cost is 1 stock. And then it says, if you do, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose 1 master or servant character from among them, reveal it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. Put the rest into your waiting room, and this card gets plus 5,000 power until the end of the turn. That is pretty nice. So that can become a 13,000 plus any assists that you may be running, plus the climax bonus, whatever that may be. I don't know what Armor Release is, but this can hit some pretty high powers for a level 2. That's really nice. So that's a nice card. This is not the Armor Release climax. This is a Fateful Night, and when you play it as a climax, you take a yellow card from your waiting room, put it in your stock, and all of your characters get plus 1 soul until the end of the turn. So that is a nice start for a rare. I think a lot of the good cards in this set, I'm not 100% sure, but I think a lot of the good cards are in yellow and red. That seems to be the dominant build, but we'll see. So we're starting off this pack with Hidden Weapon Saber. Moving like a beast, Lancer. So that Lancer was in Fate Zero as well, but he looked differently. Self-Training, which is a level 2 event, and this was in the trial deck. Cynic Archer. First uncommon card is Tactician Caster. Second uncommon card is Proof of Contract Archer. And then our rare is a single rare, a Master's Mental State Rin, which is a level 2, 1 cost, 5,000 power, attacks for 1 soul. Master and Jewel are the traits, excuse me. And the ability is 2 abilities. First one is Assist. All of your characters in front of this card get plus X power, where X is equal to 500 multiplied by that character's level, which is a typical assist for a level 2 assist card. And the second ability says Resonate. At the beginning of your climax phase, you may pay the cost, which is the cost is 1 stock, and reveal a card named Proof of Contract Rin in your hand. If you do, choose one of your opponent's level 0 or lower characters and put it into your opponent's waiting room. Wow, that is really nice. That is a nice effect. All you have to do is reveal the Proof of Contract Rin card in your hand and pay 1 stock, and you can kill a level 0 on your opponent's side of the field. Send it to their waiting room immediately. That's nice. If your opponent has some pesky level 0 on the back row, that you're unable to deal with, or is really hampering your game, this is a way to get rid of it. That is a nice card. I like that. Oops, keep the rares over there. And then we have a green climax, Dancing After School, which is a green stock soul. So the Fateful Night was a yellow stock soul. Dancing After School is a green stock soul. All right. I told you this set has some really interesting effects in it. Unusual stuff that makes it worthwhile, I think. Alright, we're starting off with Overseer of the Holy Grail War, Kirei, who was a character in Fate Zero as well, and he kind of looked exactly the same as well too. So he's kind of a carryover. Interesting. Tinkering with Machines, Shiru. This card was in the trial deck. Shiru's close friend, Issei. Immense Power. Whoa, this card's interesting. It's a level 3, 0 cost counter card. See, it's got the little counter symbol. That means it can be played on your opponent's turn. And it says, choose one of your characters, and that character gets plus X power until the end of the turn, where X is equal to 1,000 multiplied by the number of master characters you have. Wow, so that can give a pretty good power boost to something. But at level 3, I don't know if you really have the room for that. It's an interesting card, though. And it's also in blue, which I don't know how blue figures in this deck, so that remains to be seen, but that's interesting. Then our first uncommon card is a Bowman's Specialty Archer. Our second uncommon card is Morning Greeting Sakura. And then our rare is a single rare Heroic Spirit Assassin, which is a level 0/0 cost 2,500 servant and weapon. And it says, during your opponent's turn, if this card is in the middle position of the center stage, this card gets plus 2,000 power. That's pretty nice. So that's a good starting card, actually. If you could lead with that and you could put it in the middle position, during your opponent's turn, it becomes a 4,500. Plus, if you have any assist in the back, that is a lot of power for your opponent to deal with on level 0. That's a nice card. And then we have the Precision Piercing Climax in red, and it says all of your characters get plus 2 soul when you play it as a climax. All right, pack number 4. We're starting out with Summon Rights Rin, Student Council President Issei, which the traits on this one are Student Council and Glasses, Commanding Aura Saber, which is a assist card, 500 to all the characters in front of it, and this card was in the trial deck. Warning Before the Battle, Ilya. So that's the first Ilya card we've seen. First uncommon card is Heading for the Rescue, Saber. Second uncommon card is Battle After School, Shiro. Our rare, oh, we have a double rare, very nice. It's a level 3 in blue, 2 cost, Heroic Spirit Caster, 10,000 power, Servant and Master are the traits. The first ability is when this card is placed on the stage from your hand or by a change effect, look it up to X cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card from among them and put it into your hand, put the rest into your waiting room. X is equal to the number of Master or Servant characters you have. So that's pretty nice. And then the second ability, wow, is pay 4 stock and put 2 cards from your hand into your waiting room. This ability can be activated up to 1 time per turn. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you may pay the cost. If you do, stand this card. Oh, that's nice. So it can attack twice in 1 turn. So it's a restander. It's a pretty hefty cost, though. 4 stock and 2 cards from your hand into your waiting room. I don't know. It's an interesting card, that's for sure. Glad to have it. Then we have a yellow flare trigger climax, Anger Towards Evil, and all of your characters get plus 1,000 and plus 1 soul. So we already have 1 double R for this box. And now we're moving on to the 5th pack for this video, the final pack for this video. Rin's classmate, Yukuka Segusa, Usual Morning Taiga, Activating a Command Spell, Shiro, Rule-Breaking Noble Phantasm Caster. First uncommon card is Overwhelming Violence Berserker. Wow, this is an interesting card. It's a level 1, 2 cost, 9,500 power, servant and weapon, and the ability says when this card becomes reversed in battle, put the top card of your deck into your clock and rest this card. Wow. So this card can be really difficult for your opponent to deal with. On level 1, coming at them with 9,500 power. It is a little bit expensive at a 2 cost, but still, that's a lot of power. That could really create a situation for your opponent to have to manage. That's an interesting card. Then we have a level 2, 2 cost event in blue called Taken. Choose one of your standing master characters and rest it. If you do, choose one of your opponent's level 2 or lower characters and put it on the bottom of your opponent's deck. Wow. So if your opponent has some level 2 that has a ton of power, like there's some cards that get markers and they just keep gaining power and it's really difficult for you to deal with sometimes, this could be a way to just get rid of it. Pay 2 stock, play this event, rest one of your standing master characters, and send that card from your opponent's stage to the bottom of their deck. Wow, that's nice. And then we have a single rare, Shiro in the Morning Glow, which is a level 3, 2 cost, 10,000 power, master and weapon. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may put the top card of your clock in your waiting room, so it heals, which is always a nice effect. And then the second ability says put a weapon character from your hand into your waiting room, so it has to be a weapon character. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, this card gets 2,500 power and +1 soul until the end of the turn. So it can do extra damage. So that's nice. And then our climax card is a book trigger. And the book trigger is when it triggers during your trigger step, you draw a card. And then when you play it as a climax, it's all of your characters get +1,000 power and +1 soul. It is called Rule Breaking Noble Phantasm. So we've gotten some interesting cards out of this first pack. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a good day.